Truly a remarkable weekend for American soccer on the field, in the front office. Blockbuster moves happening for a couple players in Major League Soccer, which even goes further back to some more recent signings as the league firms up its vision of developing players. And this is a big part of MLS 2.0 or 3.0, whatever you want to call it. But it is really starting to churn based on what we saw here. And of course, being able to turn the telly on, who do I think I am? Turn on the TV Sunday morning and watch the biggest game of the weekend, Chelsea-Liverpool, and see Christian Pulisic participate, get off to a bad start, score an incredible goal, almost score two more goals, and all those discussions. This is stuff that we only dreamed of as a soccer culture. But here we are moving forward, and it's very exciting. Now, we'll talk about a few of these things as it applies to, in particular, Ricardo Pepi and Daryl Dike, two major talent, number 9 forwards that clearly are in demand all over the world, both making moves. Ricardo Pepi to Augsburg, Daryl Dike to West Bromwich Albion. Did a video a week ago about Ricardo Pepi possibly moving to Wolfsburg. It seemed like it was all set in ink. However, Augsburg jumped them, and they had to make a huge offer, and boy, did they do just that. A record for a homegrown player in Major League Soccer, $20 million. I did want to read this tweet from Tom Bogert. You know, everyone was excited on the weekend. Everyone was tweeting and carrying up a storm, and for good reason. Tom Bogert went, MLS deals already this winter. Daryl Dike from Orlando City to West Brom, $9.5 million plus 20% sell-on. Ricardo Pepi, $20 million plus add-on to Augsburg. Tajon Buchanan from New England to Club Brugge, $7 million. Tati Castellanos should be next. They're saying $15 million. People saying the price has gone up. A lot of few other guys maybe. Cole Bassett, Ezequiel Barco. Tati Castellanos, and I think when you look at Major League Soccer, before we get into Ricardo Pepi, when you look at Major League Soccer, it's not just the American players they are developing. Many clubs, including the club I work for at LAFC, looking to South America, Central America, to find young players that they can develop and sell on. It's part of being a successful club, bringing money into the coffers in every possible way. LAFC did it with Diego Rossi. That should be firming up. And Tati Castellanos, another South American, aided by the investment of the Citigroup in the United States. They got him out of, he's Argentine, played out of Uruguay, and now I'm thinking if Pepi went for $20 million, he's going to probably get a similar price tag because there's less players on the marketplace. Not a lot of teams are spending money, but you have to spend money for a goal scorer. So it's not just Pepi and the FC Dallas Academy or the Philadelphia Union or the Red Bull Academy. It's a lot of investment going on, and the proof is there for you to see. And I know many folks will probably say, well, what about recuperating players? Well, they're doing that. It's a system. It may not be American players, but the one thing that Major League Soccer does have that no one else has is access to these players, to these academies, bringing them up, as long as they do a good job of it, and it appears they are. It's not perfect. Some of the agents out there are maybe not thinking completely through with where these players are going. But this Pepi move in particular, and what happens with Valentin Castellanos, and the Citigroup gets that, and they signed Talis Magno. They're looking to keep doing that. Use New York City FC to get these players experience and then move them on. And it comes back. The Red Bull also, we've talked about it here, is another club that's going to do that as well. Don't be surprised if a big South American talent, remember Red Bull has clubs in Brazil, comes to New York Red Bulls. They already have some good South American, Central American players. This is all on the table. We have a lot of people interested in Major League Soccer and developing these players. But let's talk now about Ricardo Pepi. It is firmed up. Fabrizio Romano reporting it, many others reporting it. And it's amazing to think of this teenage kid in El Paso that we saw grow up, sold for $20 million. The process of MLS, they have something of value, and they bring these guys. It's working. And we created a frenzy because Bayern Munich, Borussia. We talked about all the clubs, big clubs. But what would be the ideal destination for Ricardo Pepi? Is it Augsburg, a Bundesliga 1 side in Bavaria, so close to Bayern Munich? Been up for a good amount of time. I think the third largest, they've been in the Bundesliga 1 since 2011. In 2015, they finished 5th. Are they a pizzazz club? Not really. It's going to be a place where Ricardo Pepi is going to play. But what are the signs? And we'll talk about, is this an ideal landing spot for Pepi in a moment, but what are the signs that say that this is going to be a good spot? The first and foremost is the $20 million plus add-ons. That tells you that he is going to feature, he is going to play, he is going to hit the ground running. As I said, no one's spending this kind of money. No one, we're still in a pandemic, and clubs like Augsburg can't just spend $20 million. Everyone's looking to get bang for their buck, with the exception of Manchester City and Chelsea. Remember, they signed the $100 million deals for Lukaku and Grealish, but maybe they're looking to get bang for their buck now. You can't just spend money willy-nilly. For Augsburg, it's a record transfer fee for them. I think if you look at their second and third now biggest transfers, you put them together, it adds what Ricardo Pepi is going to bring in. There are some things at play here. The American ownership involved with this club. David Blitzer, American owner for Augsburg. You have to believe that he pushed this as well. And I want to talk about that a little bit. And people say the only reason Pepi's going to Augsburg for $20 million is because there's an American owner. So what? That's part of infiltrating the system. American owners, American coaches, American players, American refs, American broadcasters, looking out for each other. What's wrong with that? Other countries do it. Other countries feel comfortable in investing in their own. We've seen it countless number of times. So why is it odd if an American owner feels like he wants to do it? We saw that with Venezia, and by the way, it's kind of paying off for Venezia. Gianluca Busio, Tanner Tessman ahead of schedule. And you think other teams are looking at this and saying, well, that kind of worked. It wasn't a banner 2021 with regards to Americans in Europe, but it was pretty good. I mean, it was very good. But if you look at the players individually, with a few exceptions, not many hit the spots that they would have liked. Some have come down a bit in value, but nothing to be worried about. I mean, there's too many positives. So it makes sense that Ricardo Pepi, whether it's an American owner and he brings him in there because of that, but you have proof in concept that it does work. So the price tag means he is going right in there. He is going to play. So we're not going to have discussions like I did with Wolfsburg. Is he going to move in the peck? Is he going to start right away? We felt firmly that he wasn't. If he went to Bayern or Dortmund, absolutely he was not. There are some reports that Bayern Munich are somewhat involved with this so that he can get the playing time in Augsburg and then they can get the sell on here at some point, which would make sense. If you're Bayern, you have Robert Lewandowski, you have bigger fish to fry. Have a guy in a club not too far away, and maybe he can be a Bayern player. It's not crazy. It really isn't. You know, Lewandowski's not a young player now. Where do you go for the next forward? Down the street. Well, not down the street, but close enough. So there's a lot of positives with all of that with Augsburg. It's a solid club, nice stadium, 30,000 seats, pretty new, so he's going to be in there, and he's going to play in the Bundesliga, which we know, more often than not, has been kind to American players, to a lesser degree American coaches, in the development of the big game. Without Germany, where would the United States be? That's where they're giving opportunities. Jesse Marsch didn't work out at Leipzig, but man, he got the opportunity. That's good. So we know that we can trust the German care, and they love American players. They feel confident in getting them. So the $20 million plus an add-on, maybe ending up at Bayern. They have the players that they have. I don't see Ricardo Pepi. They play a 4-4-2. No one's really going to stand in his way from playing regularly as long as he's healthy and goes forward. Now, looking at it a little bit closer, the things I'm not crazy about, and maybe where Wolfsburg has the upper hand, currently in 15th place and just a little bit above the relegation picture. So this is a team that could get relegated. They're banking on Ricardo Pepi to help rescue them here. And if he does, and their top scorer has 3 goals. They don't score a lot of goals, 17 goals in 17 games. Ricardo Pepi comes in and scores 7 goals. Not a crazy total. That'll probably keep them up. And Ricardo Pepi is a hero. It's Bavaria. Oktoberfest, they'll name a beer after him. Maybe we can all go. Who doesn't want to go to Bavaria in October and watch Ricardo Pepi play and then maybe have some frosty cold ones? Count me in. The relegation thing is you don't want him to be relegated with Augsburg. You want him to be, you want to see the trajectory moving forward. Being relegated, obviously a step back. And even if he does stay up, I think Augsburg shouldn't be a long-term destination because of the way they play. And I was looking, I'm not going to sit here and say I watched a lot of Augsburg games. I watched some of their highlights from their last 5 or 6 games to prepare for this video. And one thing as you look at is they don't have a lot of the ball. They beat Bayern Munich on November the 19th. They had 3 shots. They scored 2. They had 20% possession. They rarely have more possession or ball or chances or passes than their opponent, unless they're playing Greuther Fürth, which they actually played over their last game and actually had less possession there as well. So they don't have a lot of the ball, which isn't great for Ricardo Pepi. He's going to have to work really hard to get it. If they had good wide players to get him some balls, that's a bonus. I don't know if they have that. They have a good team. This is Bundesliga 1 side, for crying out loud. This is a very good team. But they have a certain style. I don't know if it's ideal for Ricardo Pepi scoring a ton of goals, getting a lot of touches. He is going to have to be clinical. When he gets these chances, he's going to have to take them. Hasn't been, despite a great season, Young Player of the Year for the U.S. Soccer and MLS breakthrough, hasn't been in sizzling form. He's going to get these opportunities. He's going to have to take them. And he's going to have the pressure of being a $20 million guy, a record signing for this team. So those are 2 big issues that I'm worried about. Firmly worried about. Hopefully he gets some good results and the relegation fears ease very quickly. But good. It's amazing. It's amazing to see all of this happen, to see clubs fighting over Ricardo Pepi. The scouting and the recruiting of players, I mean, this is serious business. There's a lot of people involved in here to see they're getting a good deal. Nobody is overpaying for anyone. This happened with Ricardo Pepi. We wish him the best of luck. I can't wait to start seeing Augsburg games, but it's going to be a grind. It's not going to be easy when you look at what Augsburg has done. And if Ricardo Pepi turns it around, well, then we know. So a few other players. By the way, Brian Reynolds may be going to Anderlecht, I hear. We talked about Buchanan, Castellanos. These are all going to happen. Cole Bassett. There's going to be more movement here. And don't worry, MLS fans. Good players are going to come into the league. You can assure it. Maybe not American players, but good ones are coming. Now, the other big name, Daryl Dike, was the first shoe to drop this weekend. And then the Ricardo Pepi bomb. He is going to West Brom, 4.5-year deal, permanent deal, $9.5 million plus performance, and MLS/Orlando City have 20% of the sell-on. He is an ideal player for English football. We saw what he was able to do with Barnsley on that loan spell. It just so happens that West Brom's manager, Valerian Ismail, was the guy in charge of Barnsley when Dike was there, and he wanted him. I was watching some videos of Barnsley fans after Ismail left, and they were devastated because they saw what a brilliant manager they had. And then he goes to West Brom. West Brom is a big club. Even though they're in the championship, this is a big club. Got relegated from the Bundesliga last season. They yo-yoed a little bit, but they were there for a decade in the Premier League from 2010 to 2018. Had some good moments. Big-time players play there. Big Sam saw them out at the very end. It's a big club with big names playing at the Hawthorns. Also in the West Midlands, Birmingham area. Why wouldn't you want to be affiliated with Birmingham? It's the coolest place. Now, it's cold and dark. But Birmingham gave us Black Sabbath, Judas Priest from Walsall, great reggae bands. Was it Pato Banton? Was he from there? And who's the reggae band? Don't worry about it. But great music, great sport. Aston Villa's up there. West Brom could be their natural rival. They are currently in 4th place and right in the playoff positions. If they can get into 2nd, they get promoted. And then all of a sudden, Daryl Dike is a Premier League player. I love this better than the Pepi move because Dike has a relationship with the manager. He proved he could play in the championship. And it's a great club for those reasons we just pointed out there. We hear there was also interest from Crystal Palace, Leeds, Newcastle. So Premier League clubs interested in Dike because he fits the model of a Premier League forward. Big, strong, athletic. No one's going to push him around. We'll see. This is going to be a little bit harder team to crack because West Brom are more talented in certain ways offensively. They're doing well in the championship right now. But everything we've heard from Ismail is that they already know Dike's had some time off from the MLS season, and they want him in there fresh blood, bang, get an impact. So that is the money, $20 million you can't beat. But with Dike, who we rated as like a $15 million player. Think of these forwards from MLS, all rated at $20 million. Pepi, Castellanos, Daryl Dike. It's fantastic news. MLS is working, folks. Money is coming in, and it's not just from expansion teams. This is huge, and it was great to see it all come down, and we're excited to see more Bundesliga and championship games coming up here. I think I covered it all, as I always like to look at my notes one last time. I think so. I think we got the gist of it. Much more videos coming out. We're going to start looking towards 2022, and January World Cup qualifiers are back here on the Soccer OG. Please like and subscribe. I should have said that earlier. Like and subscribe this video, and we'll keep pumping them out. It's a good time to be following U.S. soccer. It's a good time to be following Major League Soccer.